Some famous quotes of Niccolo Machiavelli are: everyone sees what you appear to be, few really know what you are. The ends always justify the means, no matter how cruel or immoral those means might be. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot have both. Niccolo Machiavelli was an Italian political philosopher and secretary of the Florentine Republic, whose most famous work, The Prince, brought him a reputation as an atheist and an immoral person. Born in 1469 in Florence, Niccolo Machiavelli gave ideas about how to gain power by waging wars, exploiting religion, and deal people with iron hand. His ideology is still surviving in one form or the other. This is the reason that why we are still reading The Prince, which was written 500 years ago. Henry Kissinger and Richard Nixon preferred it as their bedtime reading. Before Machiavelli, politics was strictly bonded with ethics, in theory if not in practice. According to an ancient tradition that goes back to Aristotle, politics is a sub-branch of ethics. Ethics being defined as the moral behavior of individuals, and politics being defined as the morality of individuals in social groups or organized community. Machiavelli was the first theorist to decisively divorce politics from ethics. Machiavelli entered the political service as defense secretary of his native Florence by the time he was just 29. Machiavelli's political life took a downward turn after 1512 when he fell out of favor with the powerful Medici family. He was accused of conspiracy, therefore he was imprisoned, tortured and temporarily exiled. To regain a political post and the Medici family's favor, that Machiavelli wrote The Prince, which was to become his most well-known work. It was released in book form posthumously in 1532. The Prince was first published as a pamphlet in 1513. In it, Machiavelli outlined his vision of an ideal leader, an amoral tyrant for whom the end justifies the means. The Prince not only failed to win the Medici's family's favor, it also alienated him from the Florentine people. Machiavelli was never truly welcomed back into politics, and when the Florentine Republic was re-established in 1527, Machiavelli was an object of great suspicion. He died later that year, embittered and shut out from the Florentine society to which he had devoted his life. One of the real-life models Machiavelli took inspiration from when writing The Prince was Cesare Borgia, a crude, brutal and cunning prince of the Papal States whom Machiavelli had observed firsthand. During the visit with Borgia to discuss relations with Florence, Machiavelli witnessed as Borgia lured his enemies to the city of Cinegallia with gifts and promises of friendship and then had them all assassinated. Ultimately, even Borgia would succumb to ill fortune when his father, Pope Alexander VI, became ill and died. Borgia died a few years after the death of his father at the young age of 32. Despite Borgia's premature demise, Machiavelli believed that a strong leader like Borgia was just what Florence needed to raise morale, unite the people, and raise the city-state's prominence to its former glory. Though Machiavelli was famous for The Prince, his actual views were not so extreme. In fact, in such longer and more detailed writings as Discourses on the first 10 books of Livy, which was published in 1517, and History of Florence, which was published in 1525, he shows himself to be more political moralist. Still, even today, the term Machiavellian is used to describe an action undertaken for gain without regard for right or wrong. Machiavelli wrote, "Leaders must not rely on luck, but should shape their own fortune through charisma, cunning, and force." As Machiavelli saw it, there were two main variables in life: fortune and virtue. Virtue meant bravery, power, and the ability to impose one's own will. Fortune was like a violent river that can flood and destroy the earth, but when it is quiet, leaders can use their free will to prepare for and conquer the rough river of fate. An effective leader, Machiavelli wrote, maximizes virtue and minimizes the role of fortune. This way, fortune favors the brave.